Greetings and welcome to this time of reflection and prayer. I know that myself, I don't spend enough time in prayer normally, and during this time I have a little bit more time on my hands than usual, and so I thought it would be a good time to be deliberate and intentional about spending a little bit more time in prayer and reflection. And so I thought it might be a good idea to offer some devotionals during this time. Certainly there are many devotionals out there in print and online, so this is just my humble offering to that end. And the idea that I had was to look at some readings for the coming Sunday, some assigned lectionary readings either from the epistles or from the Psalms, and to kind of look at a particular reading and spend some time meditating on some of those passages, some of those verses, and perhaps inspiring us to a time of prayer. And as fate would have it, one of the readings for this coming Sunday is one of the most well-known and well-loved passages in the Bible, the 23rd Psalm, and so I thought that is where we might begin. And the first verses of that psalm read, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And that line, "I shall not want," stuck with me because I think so many people in our society want so many things. We want and want and want more. And we might be tempted to sort of think that that verse means that if we're faithful to God, God will give us everything that we want. But I think that the verse speaks more to a sense of contentment with wanting what we have, and to be dependent upon God, to trust in God alone for our provision. Indeed, as a sheep is dependent upon a shepherd for its very survival. I heard a story from a pastor. She was raising her two young kids out in the middle of nowhere, I think somewhere in Kansas. And her kids had grown up with not a lot of video games or electronics or toys, but they sort of learned to be content with what they had. And at some point, she visited a larger city, visiting a relative, and she took her kids to a Walmart and thought it would be a treat to take them to the toy section of the Walmart. And she took her kids there and showed them these aisles and aisles and shelves of toys going on without end. And her kids looked up at all of those shelves of toys and they said to their mom, "Mommy, can you please take us home?" They were upset by all of that materialism. They had learned to be content with what they had, and so it sort of overwhelmed them to be inundated with all of that stuff. And I think that's a wonderful lesson for us all to learn, to want what we have, to have this sense of contentment, a trust in God, that with God in our lives we shall not want. And certainly during this time, to be content and possibly even to be inspired to share what we might have with others in need. And so I would like to close today with a prayer from one of the great saints of the church, Teresa of Avila. After her death, her prayer book was discovered under her pillow, and she wrote this prayer. "Let nothing upset you. Let nothing disturb you. Everything changes. God alone is unchanging. With patience, all things are possible. With God, we lack nothing. God alone is enough." Amen.